After spending years outside of Northeast, meeting people from almost all over India and spending significant amount of time with them, a few patterns started emerging, for me regarding Northeast folks. Not good or bad, just something noticeable. So today, I want to share with you what Northeast people are naturally good at. Let's get into it. Number one, adaptability. It's what I've noticed about a lot of people from Northeast is that how quickly and how quietly they adapt. When they enter a new space, they don't immediately try to change it. They observe first, they adjust, and they, figure out the rhythm. And this adaptability shows up very clearly when people from Northeast, they move to a new place, especially like a big city like Delhi or Bangalore. They observe closely, how to talk, how people behave in public, what's considered normal, what's not considered normal, what is unusual. You'll rarely, if not never, you'll rarely see them doing something that is very out of place. They usually try to maintain the decorum of wherever they are. And I think they blend in quite well actually, except when it comes to food. No exceptions. Food habits are very, very difficult to change, especially for people from Northeast. I'm sure it might be the case with a lot of people from different places, but for Northeast, it's written in stone. It's Old Testament, I've seen people adapt to new cities, new jobs, new weather, new languages, but food, let me tell you something, brother. That's where the line is drawn. They will move heaven and earth to find the kind of food that their tongue has been craving for. Whatever it takes to finally satisfy their taste. I don't know. It could be kinchili, it could be ngari, soybum, akuni. I don't know. They will do whatever it takes to get that. They may not spend a lot on other things, but they will spend a fortune to eat the kind of food that they have been craving for, to finally satiate them. So I'll tell you one true story. There was a friend, a far sister of mine. She was studying in Noida, Amity, and she was staying in a nearby apartment. And now she was relocating from Noida to Delhi. And so she asked for my help, and I went there to pack her stuff and move out. The truck hadn't arrived. We were emptying the wardrobes, getting them packed, getting them ready to move out. Everything was fine. Everything was normal. Nothing out of place until I started opening the kitchen cabinets. There was king chili everywhere. There was not a single cabinet where king chili wasn't there. Everywhere, in powder form or otherwise, I don't know. It was everywhere. I was impressed. Yes. So, here's few words of wisdom if you were to deal with a Northeast buddy, not baddie. Well, that's true for the case of baddie too, but anyway. Hear ye, brethren, the gospel. Northeast chapter 3 verse 16. Thou may taketh the people of Northeast from their home, but thou shalt not easily take home from their food. Amen. Number two, what Northeast people are naturally good at is, reading the vibe and reading people. There was this song, right? Kitabein bahut si padhi hongi tumne magar mera मगर कोई चेहरा भी तुमने पढ़ा है, right? Yeah, exactly. So, what I'm saying is they're really good at sensing moods, the vibe, when to speak or when to stay silent, those kind of things. I've noticed how instinctively people from Northeast are good at reading people. You can walk into a room and immediately sense who's in what kind of mood, who wants to talk, who doesn't, when to speak, when to stay quiet, those kind of things. And actually growing up, this was normal. You just knew when to say something and when, silence was better. I also realized this later when I met people who would speak first and then read the room later. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying that it's bad. It was just different. For people from Northeast, I think reading the room happens first, long before they decide what to speak. And sometimes, even after that, they have to, bring themselves to actually say what they have to say. Not really because they're introverted or shy. Well, that may be the case with some, but just, because observation comes naturally, especially when you are in a new place among new people. So I think that is sort of ingrained in, Northeast folks. Number 3, community instinct. Like showing up without being asked, not in an intrusive way. Showing up without being asked in a way, when someone's unwell, when someone needs help. Northeast folks, and I'm sure like this might be true with a lot of people, but especially with Northeast, this is very natural. I think they just show up, they don't make a big deal out of it. Back home, showing up isn't a favor. It's something that you just do. And none of these are good or bad on their own. There's things that work really well in some environments. In others, there's a little bit of adjustment that is needed. So when you think about people from the Northeast, the adaptability, the way they read people, their instinct to show up, to help, it all comes from the same place. A strong sense of home, a strong sense of community, and how they essentially grew up. You can step out into the world, you can blend in, adjust, do what's needed, but some things stay rooted. And we talked about a lot of things today, but if there's something that you can take away from this video, something that you can swear by, it's Northeast chapter 3 verse 16. Thou may taketh the people of Northeast from their home, but thou shalt not easily take home from their food. Amen. That's all the thought I have for today. Until next time, take care. Catch you in the next one.